Hey folks, Jumbask here bringing you another audio commentary. Today between Myth, the red human in the 4 o'clock position, and Soccer, the blue elf in the 10 o'clock position. And as you can see, it's human versus elf, so lots of options for starting off here. Elf, considering he's going for an altar build, probably going for Demon Hunter or Warden. Not you can't. I've seen a couple matches where people have gone Keeper of the Grove or Priestess of the Moon, but certainly the first two are the obvious choices. And standard build, actually fast lumber mill for Myth, but pretty much a standard build. With so we're probably gonna see an Archmage or a Mountain King, but since it's Ancient Isles, I imagine it's gonna be an Archmage, but I'm willing to be surprised. And just while we sort of wait for these things to get going, actually no, let's just check what the heroes are first. Yeah, it's a Warden versus Archmage. Yeah. Okay, well, I haven't spent too much time talking about myself in these things. I just wanted to say that, well, firstly, thank you to everyone who's watched them. I've had my account open for about a week and have had something like 6,000 video views, so I'm very pleased with that, considering this is just something I was doing pretty much for my own amusement. So thank you very much, everyone. And also, I probably will be I'll be doing these fairly consistently until October, at which point I'm going back to university, and I'll probably be doing them less. I'm not sure if I'll do them at all because I tend to have quite a busy schedule. But we'll see. I might manage to fit in one or two big ones. Obviously, World Cyber Games will be then, so I might want to sort of take a little time off just to cover some of those. But historically, I found that I've had a very busy schedule, so it might be hard to fit it in, but certainly I'll try my best. Anyways, back to the game. Standard creeping here. As you can see, Footman coming in a bit later than the militia, bringing in 5 militia, so we can creep it very quickly, as long with the water elemental tanking. Meanwhile, the Ancient of War creeping here from Soccer, getting a claws and a tome of agility, so lots of extra damage on that warden, and on the Archmage getting a ring of protection and a and health, so it's not as good, but manual of health is good against warden for slightly reducing the effects of Shadow Strike, whereas ring of protection isn't that useful because lots of the damage this guy's the Archmage is going to take is going to be magic damage, which obviously the ring of protection isn't going to be as useful for. And bit of tower going up now. Actually, Peasant gets Shadow Striked and killed, and Soccer does have the ability to kill another one. It's a bit too much of an open base here, really, for Myth. I'm not sure if he realised that there are two sort of large entrances into his base. I guess he probably did, but it seems weird that he would have such an open base and not an early tower. And as you can see, this is really going to cause him trouble because it means he is teching, but he can't put up his third farm, which he will need if he wants to build many more footmen, which he probably should be because it's a warden, so you want to just avoid the harassment. And this water elemental does go down, and it's surprising Myth even really brought that in. And 2.5 warden, and I imagine about the same for Archmage, a bit less, yeah, 2 and a bit. And obviously both sides teching, early Hunter's Hall for Soccer, so we're probably going to see some Huntresses. Yeah, there's one there, and actually 2 Ancient of Wars here, which is interesting. I guess because the Warden is such a level dependent hero, i.e. a high level Warden is just so much better than a high level or a low level Warden, even in comparison to sort of high level other heroes, that you really want to be able to creep it quite well, and by building a second Ancient of War you can really creep it a lot faster. And as you can see, it means that you can produce both Huntresses and Ancient of War creep at the same time, which is very nice, but it is quite expensive in terms of both gold and lumber, so it's not always the best thing to do. But I guess on this map you can walk your Ancient of War between lots of very high experience creeps which aren't too far apart, so it probably is worthwhile, I guess. And Archmage just scouting about, really. It looks like he doesn't have that many units, just 3 footmen and now it's tier 2 actually. So very fast tier 2 because of that lumber mill getting him the extra lumber, and now putting up an arcane sanctum as well. So we're likely to see some casters first and then breakers later, and I imagine we're going to see a panda second from soccer combined with just dryads for the moment because it's an archmage, and you don't really want to be going fast bears in this matchup. At least not before you have a couple dryads out to dispel the water elementals. And Warden going for Fan of Knives as well, you'll notice, and really doing a lot of damage to Myth's economy. And this seems to be the game that Soccer wants to play, where he's just gonna keep on doing AoE damage and just picking off the weak human units for as long as he can, really, just to stall the human while he builds up a couple dryads. Paladin second for Myth, which isn't the most common thing, but it does happen occasionally, especially against Warden, because if you get something like level 2 Shadow Strike is just so effective, or especially level 3 Shadow Strike, is just so effective against intelligence here like the Archmage, that the healing of the Paladin is actually more worthwhile than something like the Bolt of a Mountain King. And Warden having to run back now, obviously no blink, so we're probably going to see actually no, he already has boots, maybe a staff now, or yeah, there we go, a staff, just for mobility's sake. And as you can see, a panda's been picked up here. Looks like Ancient of War creeping's about to happen as well, and Warden's presumably healing right now. Yep. Probably won't buy anything at the shop, oh no, maybe we'll buy a staff at the shop. Sorry to say. Burns of Clarity and picks up another one. No staff, interestingly. And some really sort of simple creeping from Myth here. It's with only one footman, because so many footmen were killed by that earlier Warden harass, and Myth still having to rebuild peasants from that harass as well. And 2 Arcane Sanctums up, but not actually building anything. One priest is just finished, but nothing else coming out. He really should be putting up a mixture of Sorks and Breakers at this point, I think. And nice here by Soccer, just running straight into Myth's base, and then Fan of kniving. I'm not sure what the correct verb in that sense is, and then you can see just how much damage these things take. And if the panda comes in as well, which here it is, here it's level 2 as well, you could really take down a lot of these things and really end this game before it starts. And obviously Myth can't really fight this at the moment. I guess with all the militia he can, and but he's busy creeping, and he might actually lose his footman to creeps. He does, but that's probably for the best, just because otherwise it'd be free experience basically. And almost level 4 Warden, 2 and a bit panda, and this is really looking bad for Myth, because he never actually got any towers up, and at least having an arcane tower up I find is really useful against the Warden, because the Warden is so mana dependent, but also needs to be at a fairly low range and a fairly close range, and so you have to draw it into your fire for a bit, and regen being used on the panda, or not regen, same with Warden of Clarity being used, and I imagine Dryad just coming out now, yeah, and Nature's Blessing as well. That's a bit surprising, because he only has one maybe he has both Ancient of Wars uprooted now. I'm not sure where they've gone, sorry. Oh, here's one, he's just creeping it now. He should be careful about that Huntress, but I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if he lost it. But I don't think his food, no, he's only at 36 food, he should try and keep it. And another Ancient of War here, but this camp will already be crapped, and Ankh for the Paladin. It's a decent item, I suppose, but there are certainly better items for this situation. And Warden runs in, and it's almost level 4, so if it can just creep one of these berserkers, they'll get level 4, and then we'll really be able to put some more harass onto these units. And he uses the Fan of Knife just to get the level 4, and now have level 2 Shadow Strike, and we'll just come in and pick off some priests, but it's too late. And as you can see, that game really ended before it began, just because of really good harass by Soccer. I think not the best base build by Myth either, but I think what it really came down to was Soccer was able to get in there and harass the economy so well that Myth had to spend all his time after hitting tier 2 with just rebuilding his economy. And that's something that is very possible to do. You can just attack straight out when they're teching, and then they can't rebuild their peons. But obviously, once you hit tier 2, you can, especially if you're a tavern hero, you can just pick up that tavern hero and rush straight to the base and do a lot more damage. And obviously, it's a bit, it's a trade-off, but I think it paid off really well for soccer in this case. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I've been Chumpesque, as I said. Subscribe, rate, and comment below. Thanks.